Welcome back. We're going to get right into it. And then I'm going to catch up with you at the end because I had something fall on my head in a public place, and I got scammed, and then that made me start thinking about scams that I ran in the past or tried to run when I was a kid, and then also, not so much a scam, but a lie I decided I want to start telling. I think I'm going to start this week, this lie is what I'm going to go with. But first, these are some gay questions. I'm a little nervous to do one of them because Taylor Swift is mentioned, so I don't want to mince words with that. But first and foremost, first gay question. Okay. So why the fuck is it okay for my lesbian friend, and fuck is in all capitals. Okay, so why the fuck is it okay for my lesbian friend to try and convince my girlfriend to be gay but when I try, gay but is one word in here, probably a typo on my end, to be gay but when I try to convince my lesbian friend's girlfriend to be straight, it's a problem. What is the double standard in this? Now, I gotta say, I hear you. That I think it's a little bit of like a corny joke, but just power dynamic wise, the default is always straight, so the power dynamic of her going at your girlfriend versus you going at her girlfriend is a little bit different, but it's also like, or maybe she's just using that, not to throw the person under the bus, maybe she's just using that to get away with something, because I personally, I think it's a little, worst case scenario, it's like a little bit corny, but also maybe it's, she's uncomfortable with herself, and she's scared, and so she's sexualizing herself as a joke, because she's uncomfortable with the dynamics of not being in the dominant sexual group, and that's why it's just a little bit different. That's kind of like the nice part of me imagining what's going on. Or she could have a crush on your girlfriend, so I think you should probably go through their phones, or at least go through her phone, or like devise something, because I don't know, I would not like that one. I wouldn't like that one bit. Don't stoop to then you making those comments about her girlfriend. Be the bigger person, and you might need to cut that. I don't know, cut that person out. I wouldn't like those. I know it's so hard to make friends as an adult, but I personally, my vote is you don't do it, and then they shouldn't do it either. This wasn't a gay question, but it was the first one I drew up, and it asked what I thought of candy corn, and maybe that is a gay question. Maybe there's something going on with candy corn that I don't know about in the queer community, and it just kind of caught my eye because my thoughts on candy corn are actually quite a bit. I love candy corn. It's a treat that really is a trigger for me. Like, if I have candy corn, then I want to go eat donuts, and it's like that's definitely like something that sets me off. The specific sugar in candy corn, and my romance to it is I like to break it up into little pieces, and I like how the plastic kind of makes it each the way it is. It's like in their little, like, in the design, the top comes off in the middle and the bottom, and I love the way the plastic tastes in my mouth, and I love it so much that I actually cannot have them. So I think about candy corns quite a bit, because that's like a symbol of something where it's like, not for me, but if you can do them responsibly, good for you. It's the same thing with drinking. Like, although actually it'd be harder for me if a bunch of people were eating candy corn around me, like that smell I would feel very enticed by, whereas alcohol doesn't. I've filled in that spot in my life that made me used to want to like drink too much, and I kind of have with candy corn too, but they're really, candy corn and Swiss rolls are like a real symbolic food for me. If I could eat candy corn and not have any type of spiritual repercussions where I kind of go off the deep end, that would be like peak. Like, I would be able to graduate therapy. I wouldn't need to call Barbara my therapist anymore. I'd really truly be making it. So these are my thoughts on candy for corn. I'm not sure if that was a totally gay question. I guess I just kind of made it gay, but the rest are more straightforward gay. This is something. Makes me a little nervous to address because I was brainstorming it, but then even bringing up Taylor Swift feels like dicey, but I can't pretend this wasn't presented. So here's the next one. So it starts, I'm sure there was a pleasantry, I just clipped it out. So here's the thing. Also, I've had anxiety today, and I don't know why I'm drinking iced coffee. Like, truly, what would the point of this be? It's 5:30 in the evening, and these things that we do. Okay. Question. So here's the thing. I don't love how Taylor Swift handles her PR regarding being accused of being bisexual. I hate it, actually. There's nothing wrong with being bisexual, and yet her people, had put out statements saying it's inappropriate. What in the hell? If she's straight or bisexual, Does it matter? To someone who's an ally, to someone who's an ally, I don't understand why she gets seemingly offended by those accusations. And honestly, it feels like she does the most to fan the fires of queer culture. It's just my opinion, and I would never out someone. That'd be amazing if you had the power to, but I agree. It's just my opinion, and I would never out someone. I just hate her response. It's like Shawn Mendes and his bullshit. Maybe I'm taking this too personally. I think this is something we all wonder about our parasocial relationship with Taylor Swift. Maybe I'm taking this too personally. I probably am, but it feels crappy. Sad face. The girl typing up a storm, LOL. So my thoughts on this were, I think it's really symbolic of how starved we are as a society for queer and specifically bi representation in a positive way, where it's kind of like, there's a couple things. Like, there's the excitement of, oh my god, this could be huge for us. And then to have that snatched away is like, damn. And then there was the speculation for a reason. That wasn't coming from anywhere. Like, the thing that I thought seemed queer to me was not the kiss with the person that they had a picture of her doing a kiss with. It was that friend of hers that she immediately stopped talking to. That's gay. When you're just all of a sudden, then it's like, oh, no, we're not talking anymore. That to me feels either super immature or quite gay or both. So I remember those accusations, and I think this plant is bisexual, so I'm getting a little close to it. So I remember when that came out, and I felt excited as well. I don't remember specifically the way that she handled it and what she said, but I looked it up, and it has been addressed a bunch of times. So, like, in an ideal world, how awesome would it have been? And maybe she did do this. This is where I get nervous, because I watched a few things. But in an ideal world, it would have been like, whether I am or I'm not, who's to say? Or if she was like, I'm an ally, I wish I was bisexual, what an honor that would be. I don't know if I couldn't find the quote where she said, she definitely didn't say being bisexual is inappropriate. I think she was saying it's inappropriate that people are accusing me of being bisexual. But to me, I flagged the whole response as actually, for lack of a better word, condemning to her being a homosexual. Because the truth is this, if someone says you're bisexual, you're gay, or something that you're not, like if someone says to me, you're straight, I'd be like, whoa, no, but I would say, no, but thank you. I truly would be like, what? Straight what? Like, straight, sure, like, you know, is this part of like a vision test or a social experiment you're doing? But it'd be like, it wouldn't be like, I'm not straight and I'm not straight for these reasons, and it's inappropriate for you to even ask, even though that would be more accurate than is the case with her. So it did seem a little bit defensive, but then she reiterated many times, she's an ally. I think more of it is just like a bigger thing about like how nice it would be to have that queer representation, and then it's taken away. And it does feel a little bit stingy, because the truth is this, and I should have opened with this, not only is there nothing wrong with being bisexual, thank God for bisexuals. To me, I love that. To me, that's a real comfort word, because I understand too, okay, queerness, because to say bisexual in some way maybe is implying that there's only two genders and we're trying to work beyond that. But I think, like, deconstructing it, then reclaiming it, to me, bisexual is of the utmost attraction. That means that we're probably speaking a similar language. And I feel, in the past, I'm like, ooh, I don't know if it's going to work out because the person's a lesbian. I wanted to whisper that, lesbian. I'm in like, the East Village, which is just, like, all gay every day. Like, I should be more scared whispering, like someone's going to knock down the door, as they should. But, it's all to say. Someone's a lesbian, that would make me more nervous than if they're bisexual. You couldn't have more of an ally in me. I feel a little bit creepy with that. But at the same time, you're getting it from all angles. No pun intended, okay? Taylor said, she said that it was inappropriate for people to be sexualizing her female relationships. And I don't want to gaslight the reality of that. However, there was the picture of them kissing, and then the friend that she like kicked off of the tour bus. And I remember reading about the kick off the tour bus. Like, what do you think the queerest thing that she did to tip off the rumors were? Do you think some part of me secretly thinks, yeah, of course she's bisexual. That tracks. Like, there's a vibe, like, who's not bisexual is Patrick Mahomes' wife, Brittany. And I'm not just saying that because it's like, you guys can have her or whatever. But, like, that to me, she's straight. Now, Taylor Swift, I don't know. But that's just beside the point. You didn't ask what I think of it. It's hard to get a reading when you haven't met somebody in person yet. She's not one of my celebrity crushes at all, even though I would be so honored if she was. It's just not the way my attraction hardwiring is. All of that said, yeah, it would have been so nice if that was a moment where it was like, I'm not, but I wish I was. That would have been a nice thing for us in the community. I want to say us as in me gay and you bisexual, us as one queer ball of yarn or whatever. I'm sorry that wasn't the representation we wanted it to be. I don't feel like she hasn't clarified it, though. Although I haven't followed it insanely closely afterwards. After the initial thing. Like, I kind of forgot about it. And then you said it and I went, oh, yeah. And then Shawn Mendes pops up on my Instagram feed. So we're basically best friends. Okay, this next one. There's a lot I really like about being a trans woman and a lot of indicators that it's right for me, but I miss having gay sex with gay guys in a gay way. So bad, like every single day. I love being gay with gay boys so bad to the extent it's giving me a whole gender crisis. I said both, I need both one specific gay man I'm currently down bad for, and I need gay sex in general, and the sex I've been having with guys as an out full trans woman sucks. And even when it's physically satisfying, I can't really connect with these men the way I could when it was gay boy and gay boy. Sad! Exclamation point. I'm gonna explore the boy side of my presentation again, and I'm very conflicted about it. I want to have my thoughts organized on this. So I wrote this down. I hope you don't mind. Because this is a very exciting thing to get to have the opportunity to brainstorm with you. First, huge brave step moving forward with being your true self. That doesn't mean that your old desires and attractions are going to go away. It means that they've shifted to be a part of who you are, have always been, but how you're presenting now. I understand this in a very unique way because I don't want to make this about me. I have to check if I'm being a narcissist right now, but just to relate. Like, nothing turns me on more right now than if I was in Ashton Butler's body and just blowing, for lack of a better term, just blowing my girlfriend's back out. Like, I completely understand the desire of being presented in a way and being a way and being recognized as that way. That being part of a sexual charge that then allows you to want to have, like, a certain dynamic. Like, because to me, if someone tries to feminize me in a certain way, I'm like, I don't want any part of this sex. I'm no longer turned on by the situation as much as I could be turned on by the other person. This is just me relating to you. It's normal to have grief for before. Like, it's normal to miss those experiences. It doesn't take away from you as a trans woman at all. And also, it doesn't have to be in the binary. This is part of who you are as a trans woman. And so, these experiences you're having, you're figuring it out. And it's like, maybe you haven't met a dynamic enough person yet. Like, for me, okay, we don't need to be with everybody, but there's just someone who needs to line up with our stuff. Like, I love like an empowered woman who knows herself and is an anti-racist feminist, but then sexually is an offensive freak interested and turned on by exploring all types of taboos that are so fucked up that it's taboo to then also sexualize them. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I like looking at, one porn I like daddy-daughter porn. Now, that has nothing to do with, if you even sit anything to do with daddy, something, anything in the literal way. It's all about transgressing what we perceive as wrong, or something that's, like, edgy to it. Or, like, there was this documentary years ago about porn, aspiring porn people, I don't want to say people that would be in amateur porn in Florida. And they were all staying at this one house. And it really was eye-opening and ruined porn for me a little bit. I'm not going to lie, because there's this one scene where this girl was like, I can't believe that some guys out there actually think we would want to have sex with our uncle. And I said, of course I didn't think you guys should want to have sex with your uncle. And then she goes on, she goes, these gross old men. And I go, yeah, but the fantasy in the porn was that you're so taken by the idea of this fucking dick and this guy that just needs to come off and unload on you. And you're so in tune with being this is only attractive to me if this isn't a words that she would identify with and would turn her on as well. You're so in tune with wanting to be such a fucking whore, you just need to take that cum dump. Then it's like, yeah, you're overtaken with everything else. But then in the video, she was like, it's disgusting and it makes me feel gross. I said, well, you ruined it for me now. Not into it. I didn't take my ADD pills today because I lost them when I was in New Hampshire. My point is, I feel like this situation highlights beautifully, might I add, that multiple things can be true at once. You're a trans woman who is craving and missing the interactions of gay men and your ability to express yourself that way. And we're going to hold space for like the layers of all the different things that being a human being can be when it comes to what actually turns us on. Because also this is the thing, like gender and sexuality don't always line up so much in a neat little box. I wish they would personally. But it's like, or no, actually I don't. I really don't. That's internalized homophobia speaking. They don't always, it's not some crisp little process. Like, I've had a couple friends actually that have transitioned and then it changed it's like it brought out a new part of their sexual attraction too, which I think is so interesting. And to me also, I've found people with more nuances to their sexual proclivities to be the most picky. Because I remember this friend of mine, actually she was this ex-girlfriend of mine, I don't know why I just lied, ex-girlfriend of mine, and I remember her saying, like, she was like, I'm really attracted to masculinity, whatever the form is. I want, like, intense masculinity. And she's like, so it's the worst when people are like, oh, you're a bisexual female, why don't you go out with a bisexual guy? Now, that's not to say, as a little side note, that a bisexual man can't be the most masculine of the masculine, but she was saying for her, and she was highlighting the irony of it, and this was in the safe space of, you know, understanding that it's two people that totally respect all the dynamic things that different people can be, but she's saying for her, she's like, I wouldn't want to be with a gay guy because that would be like the worst of all the worlds to me. She was like, I need someone that just desires the feminine body. Now, I could push back on that and say, well, not really, because of course it's like, for you, yes, of course, but also, some ways I get it, I'm like, you can see the most masculine person being bisexual too. I mean, it just takes one person where you meet where you go, oh, that totally changes how I thought about everybody that represents that, you know? You can be a trans woman and still miss what felt good about guy-on-guy sex. One thing doesn't take away from the other thing. As much as people are like trying to push that reality on you. Oh yeah, and then the final note was it truly might just be the men that you've been with. You haven't been with a dynamic enough partner. So when you're with someone that has nuances and a level of dynamicism that matches up with your level of dynamicism, then all of your, not problems, but your sexual desires can be solved. And it's like, if we could all be so lucky to have multiple people that match up with all of our different wants, because there's wants and needs here too. It's like I would need someone to be a little bit kinky. I would want them to then want to do butt stuff. But if they don't do butt stuff, but they're still a little bit kinky, that's a workaround. So there's the wants and the needs. So we have to figure out what your want and need here is, and that's part of what you're getting to explore as a trans woman with these sexual attractions. What a great thing that you've given yourself the space to actually figure that out. I can't wait to see who you're going to end up being with and the types of sex you're going to have happen. And you know, it's like, we might not even know yet. If we're going with an open mind, you go, like, I'm kind of into foot stuff now. I would never was. And then I saw my girlfriend's feet at a certain angle. I said, nom, nom, nom. So you never know exactly what's going to pique your interest and what the context there is. And I think it's just part of the human condition, especially it's like a coping mechanism to like just want to figure things out, because then it can help drive us directionally a little bit. Like, these are the type of people I'm going to go with, and we're just looking for markers and cues. My gay problem is living in a city that has a thriving gay community coming from the South. People here don't realize how lucky they are to be able to be so publicly gay. And I think as a result, we treat each other like shit and take all this for granted. The dating scene here is absolutely brutal, and I need us to remember that we used to have to fight for this. Gay love is special, and we do need to treat it as such. That's my rant. That's so interesting. So you're feeling like people should, instead of maybe being cliquey or closed off from what you're experiencing, they should be more just open and warm, like, oh my God, we're here. I feel you, because it's like we've all been through some type of otherness, so instead of a defensiveness, we should be more connected and friendly, and there can be lots of cliques, especially in a city, lots of cliques, but I think it's also a defense mechanism, because it's like you're struggling with internalized homophobia. As you get older, you get busier, you know what you like more, so all of a sudden you're like, I'm going to go meet this new person, or I'm going to stay home and do red light therapy that I haven't gotten to do, and scroll the internet until my eyes bleed, and then you're like, fine, I'll go out and meet someone, and then you're a little pissed about that, so you're comparing every interaction you have with someone to your red light that you know is at home, so you're being a little bit mean, and then it might seem like you're being like, fuck these gays. We don't know exactly what's going on in someone's brain, but I hear you. I 100% feel that, where it's like, shouldn't we all be being nice to each other when we're in these spaces? The cliqueness. I haven't been to, actually, as I'm saying this, I haven't been into a gay space or a gay bar or queer where it's all that in a long time. And I remember that, where it would just be like kind of awkward and everyone's like looking at each other and sizing each other up. Is that still what it's like? But I feel like that's just like the age. I feel like that's how it is, because when you're interacting with strangers, we're all scared. We're all scared little babies being like, if I put myself out there, am I not enough? So I hope for everybody's like, know you're enough, appreciate it, and then be like, thank God I can go out and be around with these queer-ass people. I hear you. Gay problem. When your bestie introduces you to another of their friends, that person starts flirting with you, and now your bestie is upset and blames you for it, even though all you did was exist as a queer person. This happens too often. You must be quite attractive. It's not your fault that you're setting off some type of queer alarm. It's not your fault you're making the queer sprinklers go off in the yard. You're Wi-Fi, and you can't be blamed. Someone's not calling up Con Ed saying, hey, someone's connecting to my trying to connect to my Wi-Fi. They go, are they trying to connect to the Wi-Fi, or did they connect to the Wi-Fi? Because if they're just trying, you're Wi-Fi. People are going to try to do that, but that's why you create passwords. That's all to say, it is in no way your fault, anybody's fault, ever if someone's trying to hit on them. Are you crazy? But here's the reality of the situation. I'm going to assume your friend has a crush on you. So they're like, oh, that person was trying to flirt with you. Either they've got a crush on them, or they've got a crush on you, but someone's crushing somewhere. You know, don't hate the player, hate the game. Good for you for getting all these flirts, you know what I mean? Also, I feel like it's a little bit, when people aren't sure how to be around someone, they go to a default of flirting, because I wonder if it's like they see this presentation, and then in their brain it goes to something sexual because they see queerness, and then that is like a hop, skip, and a jump away from a sexualness, and they're not quite sure how to like compartmentalize and interact with the person, so then they're sexualizing you, so then they're flirting with you, or they're just not sure how to place you, so then they're flirting. Like there's this guy I used to follow, he had this show, his name's Donnie Deutsch, it was a big idea with Donnie Joyce, and he was talking about how he would always flirt as a way to engage. Now this is kind of a bad example because I think it was like super dated, and the people, I believe, even though what I'm saying now is like would be way more hearsay than anything I even brainstormed about Taylor Swift, but I believe that he got in trouble because people were like, actually, we didn't want you flirting with us. Like, that was completely unwanted advancements. But then in his book, he's like, everybody flirts as a way to be friendly, and then people are like, not so much. So it's a bad example, but it's like, in the book, say it wasn't wrong, which came out that it was, but say that it wasn't, it's like, people are flirting because they have an attraction to you that they can't quite place. So maybe they see you being yourself and you're cute, and then they try to flirt, and then your friend can't handle that because they're in love with you. Do you think that friend's in love with you? Or have you had other times where it's not that friend and everyone's just mad that everyone else is flirting with you? You should sell skin cream. or scent. Not to repel people, I mean the scent of your scent, since you're getting all these flirts. Problem. Being pan and feeling like I don't belong in any queer spaces if I date someone of the opposite sex. I'm too queer for straight people and not queer enough for queer folks. Being told it's a phase. I'm 59. Or other things to erase, ban, pan folks. Yeah, you hear this quite a bit, and you belong in that space no matter what. And you are a cherished ally of, not cherished ally is the wrong word, but like your access to the privileges that you get while you're in the straight relationship is a cherished thing to be celebrated because you're queering up a straight relationship. It's not a straight relationship because you're in it. You know what I'm saying? If steak meat was thrown all over the vegan dinner, it wouldn't be a vegan dinner. So you're queer, you're thrown all over a straight relationship. It's not a straight relationship because you're queering it, or you're buying it, or you're panning it, or you're whatever you are in it. So it's too bad that then visually that's not taken into account. However, what a great thing to have you in at that party so you can be having extra, conversation. I know it's draining and exhausting, but it's kind of like, oh, how cool is that you're out, it's like a superpower. People are like, oh, something, those damn queer people, and you go, psych, you mean me? And they go, oh, I didn't know. But people doing that, it's sad for them that they feel the need to bring you down because they think their queerness isn't enough. Like, you being bi, pan, or queer, and then going with what aligns up visually as the thing that is easier to be, then it's too bad that it feels like for people that then that takes away from what they would offer, and then they're gonna doubt themselves. Plus, in my experience, anybody who's queer actually would, in my experience, or at least 9 out of 10 times, they would choose to be in a queer situation. They just can't find the right queer person to do it with, so they're like, bah, I'll go be in this situation with a straight person, which, as we have, through this talking, I'm going to make a point to articulate, actually is a queer situation because there's a queer person in it. Gay problem. Every gay man I've ever met is in love with my husband. I don't understand. It says, he's around... Oh, no, that's not. I was about to say that the person said he's around, but then I misread it as he's around, but no, it's actually, he's a round, short, balding guy. He's super cool and fun to be around. Sounds like you're thrilled. But I don't know why all these guys are always hitting on him. Is this a look thing? Sure. For sure. There's a comedian named Sean Donnelly that has a joke about all the different types of gay men and how he wishes straight guys could have a type too, because he's like, I'm botching it, but he's like, to straight people, I'm just like a chubby old guy with a beard, but to gay people, I'm a otter, or whatever the term. I'm totally butchering his joke, but you get the sentiment behind it. Like, it's like desired and sexualized and a fetish even, that you don't necessarily have people joining around in the straight community, even though they're there. It's just, I think, in some weird way, as a coping mechanism for having a different sexuality, queer people have analyzed their sexuality so much more. That's why you'll have queer people being like, I'm a top, pan, bi, quadruplant, or whatever. And then straight people are like, hi, I'm just Sally, and you're like, wait a minute, like, they're not even beginning to, like, itemize all the things that they are. And I don't know if anyone could or should, but it's like, we're doing it from the jump because we've had to fight for it in a way. So they probably like your husband for a few reasons. They probably are picturing, oh, that guy's wife doesn't seem like she understands why people are attracted to him. I wonder if that then means he's not getting a lot of blowjobs, so I wonder if I blow him, then he's going to be like, he's going to have the biggest load of cum ever. I'm just putting myself into a gay guy's brain, what I was trying to imagine, and then they're thinking that he's all pent up, and I'm going to get that's cum, or whatever. Maybe that's one thought. Or another thought is they like that he, exactly like you said, they like that he's round. Round, swag, and round, put a square peg in a round hole, get in there. It is funny to say that people are like your husband and you don't understand. Is it his personality? It's probably his looks and his personality. By the same reasons that you were attracted to him. they're attracted to him. But what you're noticing is, hey, there's a disproportionate amount of gay men attracted to my husband. Or it's just that those gay men, okay, now I'm really thinking about it, maybe there's something about your husband that makes them feel safe, and so they feel comfortable saying, like, hey, I'm attracted to your husband. But women are attracted to him too. They just know to not say that because they said if he is straight, the gay guys will know they can say it without any no harm, no foul, you know? If I'm a vegetarian, I keep saying, I like that steak in your plate, you're not going to be like, hey, you're going to try to take my steak, you know that I'm not. This is not such a great example, but do you see what I'm saying? They know they're just saying, they feel safe, something about your husband is making them feel safe, or your husband's secretly gay and he's giving out a vibe. You didn't hear from me. I doubt that's what it is. What I think it is there's probably something about him, and people feel attracted to him and safe around him enough to let their mind go there, and then safe enough around you to tell you that. Or maybe he's so fucked up looking that they're like, this lady needs to hear that someone is attracted to their husband. You know, maybe they take one look at him and then they go, well, I'm attracted to your husband. You know, every now and then after a show, say you have a tough show, someone will come up and go, well, I liked it. And you go, damn, everyone else hated it. So maybe that's their version of that. I think that that's absolutely impossible that that's the case. I just think he's probably really cute and people feel safe around him. What a great guy. You got rubbed up a whole little head. Next one. I'm a straight guy and I'm into women, and almost all my relationships are with women because I'm straight. Wait a minute. This is going to be the last one too, because I'm a straight guy and I'm into women. I'm a straight guy and I'm into women. Feels like that is something that you're just telling yourself every single morning. There might be a little bit of denial going on. I'm a straight guy and I'm into women. I'm a straight guy and I'm into women. Okay. I'm a straight guy and I'm into women, and almost all of my relationships are with women because I'm straight. I have, however, I should have read this first. Problematic. Assumptions make an ass out of me. Okay. Pretend my commentary was never involved in here. I'm going to start from the top. I'm not going to interrupt myself once. I'm a straight guy and I'm into women, and almost all my relationships are with women because I'm straight. I have, however, slept with a trans woman and also have had a boyfriend who I really liked. Trans woman is a woman, so it doesn't count towards me being gay because the ones I was with were basically women, and with the guy, the relationship was exactly how it was with a girl, except he was a guy, if that makes sense. Does it ever? Absolutely. 100%. I made some friends online, and somehow this conversation came up, and they said I'm gay or bi, which to me is basically gay. So they made a pretty big jump there. You actually could be totally straight, and you sound more straight since most of your experiences have been with women, say a guy here or there, and you're attracted to that dynamic of the person being a quote-unquote girl in the relationship. Boy, do I ever get it. I hear you completely. And I think this gets into something that my girlfriend and I talk a lot about because she's bisexual, and she's like, I'm attracted to like male energy and men, and kind of like what I was referring to before, it's like whatever that form comes in. But it sounds like in your case, it primarily is coming from people embodied as women, but there is a little bit of curiosity there, and it sounds like you're attracted to femininity. Now, there's a comedian who you should look up right away. His name is Jim Norton, and I've always thought this about him. This guy doesn't get enough credit because he is really super successful comedian, really nice guy, but he's been talking about being in relationships with trans women, I want to say since the dawn of time. And he's not talking about not preaching to the choir. He was like a shock morning radio guy on Sirius XM, and I remember this joke watching, this is years and years and years ago, I'm watching his special, and on it he talks about, I'm paraphrasing, but he talks about if you're going to suck your wife's dick, to make sure you don't think that it's a guy, you don't look at the feet. He goes, if you're sucking your wife's dick, don't look at the feet, because that's the giveaway. And I was like, this guy's not getting enough credit for the level of queer that this is and the spaces that he's saying it in. He's not just sitting in the coastal cities saying it to people who are like, ah! He's saying this out like, I did a festival with him at Skankfest. And he's openly talking about his wife and his wife being trans. And to me, that was, he says, he's like, look, I'm not gay, I'm not straight, but I'm obviously something. So this could extend here. But jumping to gay or bi, how could this be? This is not apply. What do you feel? Do you want them to jump to gay or bi? And bi being basically actually gay, don't let those people get into your head about that. That's not true whatsoever. No truth to it. The only truth to it is that society is like racist, sexist, classist, and homophobic, and those isms are going to get in people's heads, and people are scared because every moment we're alive, we're also marching towards death, whether you believe in reincarnation or not. It's like our bodies are going to decompose at some point, and it's just a scary experience, and it's hard being a human being. It's hard being a human being, so we're all freaked out. And then when there's these structural imbalances where it's like, why would you not go with a thing that's a little bit easier because it's so hard to survive in all types of ways, then it's going to make people go, oh, you got to be this, you got to be that, or be here with me, or don't, or if you're that other thing, like, then I'm not going to claim you in this situation. But if we really think about it in a measured way, I'm going with sounding pretty queer light. Queer light. Okay, so those are the questions. Write in more. Tickets for Emma@gmail.com. I have eons more, pages and pages, actually. So I'm excited to get to the rest of those. Now, this is what's going on with me. So I go in to get a massage today because I'm getting my colonoscopy, not tomorrow, the day after that. I'm getting my colonoscopy tomorrow, so I'm going to get a massage. It's a walk-in place I've been to a million times. The woman's massaging me, and a clock falls on my head, like a full-blown clock. The batteries pop off. So I go, ow, and I'm startled, and I go, what the fuck? And then there was no even, like, are you okay? Or, oh my God, nothing. So I go, and I'm still laying there, and then I hear the woman picking up the pieces, and then she says, oh no, the clock broke. Now here's the thing. I'm not going to assume what her relationship is to this clock, because at first I was like, are you crazy? Like, what? Like, it falls right on my head, boom, from my head to the floor. That's when the batteries pop out. So I was just like, a little surprised, I want to say. Shooketh, even. She cleans it up. I'm kind of like tensed up, like, I'm fine. And then she said, are you okay after that? But here's the thing, I don't know what her relationship is to that clock. I don't know. I got this premonition. I was like, I think that she looks at that clock a lot. She was like, how much longer do I have to keep massaging this person? And that clock, like, becomes her friend. Like, when I was in elementary school, my dad's a math professor, and he would help me with my math homework. And I remember I had a weird affinity towards the calculator we would use because I would just be staring at it like, this has to end. This has to pass. And that made me feel like a closeness towards this calculator. Also because I knew that I stole it and I had lied through my face. In my high school, they used to put white out on the calculator, so like mark them, like this is like Geometry 101 or whatever's calculator. And then I would sandpaper that off. So I put blood, sweat, and tears into this calculator, so I had a weird affinity to it, and I got this premonition, like, I bet this woman has an affinity for this clock, so when it smacked me in the head, she didn't think, I should give this person $5 off. She thought, oh no, my clock and clock battery. So that happens to me this morning. What happened earlier this week, so I get this email, and it says, Chelsea Handler's booking department wants to book you for her podcast. They had the podcast host name. It was very official layout, and they said, would you like to do a Zoom sound check on these different dates? So I, at first, was surprised because normally someone this big would go through, like, a manager or an agent or some other type of protocol. But it's the booking assistant. I think I scrubbed my website, so I think the website contact is now just getting forwarded to me. So I go, okay, wow, okay, this is exciting. I feel excited. And then I'm like, I wonder if it's because I met her 2 years ago, maybe 3 years ago, whatever. I always do that with time, and it's like, hey, this makes no difference in the story whatsoever. And then when other people are doing it, they're like, yesterday, maybe the day before, maybe 5 years ago, and it's like, this doesn't actually pertain to you. You're talking about lima beans for like 2 seconds. There's more context than needed. But just to get it out, so a couple years ago, I meet her. It was 7 p.m. at the Comedy Cellar. I'm talking to a comedian named David Tell. She comes in. She sees David Tell. She's with 2 friends. I'm like, oh my God, that's Chelsea Handler. She goes, hi, I'm Chelsea. Nice to meet you. And I said, oh, I'm Emma. And then she goes, we've met before. And I was like, I don't think we have. And she goes, no, we have. And I was like, I don't think we have. Now, ordinarily, I would just let that go. Who cares? But I was so, like, excited that in my head, it's like, no, I would remember if we did. So I don't let it go. I got weird. I said, we definitely didn't. And she went, we did. And I went, I don't think so. Now it's a little weird. So she sits down. Her friend sits down with her. And I'm like, okay. Someone like her is going to be getting all of this attention. I'm going to be I'm going to start talking to the friend because I want the friend to feel comfortable while Chelsea's like getting all this attention. So she starts talking to Dave, who also is the one that she knows. I'm talking to the friend, we're talking about makeup. There's a pause in the conversation, and she offers up to the group. She's like, I'm here, you know, I'm looking at potentially getting an apartment in New York. And then there's a pause. And I go, oh, if you're looking for apartments in New York City, you get a good deal right now. I think the best deal is on the Upper East Side. And she said, good to know. Now that was me being awkward because here's the thing, I don't know anything about real estate. I also have no idea what Chelsea Handler's price point is, but probably the number one thing she's thinking isn't where can I get a good deal. Maybe it is, but like relative to like a rich people type of deal, I was talking about where the actual lowest price point in Manhattan at the moment was. And I believe I said something about there's no subway line directly within these blocks, so right around there. Now at this point I'm like, full on, just making shit up. I'm grasping at straws. So I do all this, and she humors it and is like, okay, and then she goes, you're going to come down and watch the show? I said, no, I got to go home and work on an audition. Then when I'm walking home, I call my friend. I said, I just met Chelsea Handler, and we had this weird interaction, 2 of them actually, and then she asked if I was going to watch the show. I said, no, I got to go home and work on an audition. She said, do you even have an audition? I said, I'm going to get one. So I screwed up the whole thing. I get home, I'm like, I should have stayed and networked, and then so I run back, and I get there, and she's gone. So I'm thinking in my head, oh, maybe she remembered that and wanted me to be on the show. I confirm a time, and then I get this email saying all the things they want to talk to me about in the show. Now, this seemed weird to me because it was like, Chelsea wants to know who you are, how you grew up, like all this stuff. Here's the thing. I'm not so self-absorbed that I don't think so much of myself that checks out. I'm not like, oh, she noticed. I'm like, wait a minute, this seems like a scam, because why? Like, I can understand, are they going to have me on a panel for something? That's one thing. Being on a panel or being an interview guest are 2 very different things. A panel, it's like, you're one of a few people that is like, what do we think about this water? And then we all go around and talk about the water. That seems much more believable than it being like, she wants to interview you. So I think that seems weird, but I'm like, well, maybe. So I start thinking about it. I share it on my Patreon, which there's a few more spots in the $3 mark. I've got a limited amount of ones in the $3 mark. They're almost full, thank you, the Lord. So if you want to get in, there's a couple more $3 ones, and then price is going to go up. But if anyone needs, obviously, I'll keep it at $3. I'm very bad at sales. So I was excited about this. I shared it on Patreon. I told my mom about it. I was really upset a couple weeks ago, and I was like, well, but I'm excited for this, whatever. Or I guess it was pretty recently, because I think I got this email 2 weeks ago. So I said, I'm excited for this. And my mom said, how much do they pay you for when you do something like that? I said, that's not the point. Trying to make it in show business is about exposure. She goes, well, you've been saying that now for like a long time. I said, but I said, I'm excited though. I told my dad and stepmom, this is what starts to get a little sad. I told my dad and stepmom, and I told my therapist. So when I got another email at 1 a.m. with the exact same thing as the initial email, I go, wait a minute, too many red flags. And I respond to that. I said, hey, I already confirmed this. We have a sound check. You already sent me what the questions were going to be. Then I Google Chelsea Handler scam. Bunch of things pop up. Actually, the first thing was from comedian Jim Norton saying that somebody is running a scam on people trying to get access to their Facebook page, and they have a sound check. And so I texted Jim. I said, is this the email you saw? He said, sure, is this a scam? I said, damn, egg on my face, embarrassing. So I got scammed. But then it got me thinking about little scams I used to run. Now, I never ran anything to this degree. I wouldn't, because that is so cruel. So cruel to be playing with people's hopes and dreams. But I did run a scam where anytime I would have a health class, I would go to the grocery store, I would buy pre-made grocery store food, and then I would screw it up a little bit and bring it in to pass it off as my own. What I would do that would really mess it up, though, is I would screw it up too much, so I'd be spending more time figuring out a way to cheat than it would have just taken to actually make the food, and I'd get like a D, because there'd be like weird walnuts and potato chips crushed up in the hummus, because I was trying to make it look like I didn't know how to read directions, but I really was the one doing it. So that was a little scam I had in my nutrition class. I got a B-. I also tried to run a scam pie operation-ish. It wasn't so much a scam in that I had this little pie-making business, and then I would wait until my mom's friend from book club would come over, and then I would kind of corner them and say I was buying a pie, and I probably made up some charity. I'm still paying for that one karmically. So I was trying to think, okay, someone's going to run a scam because they're an asshole first and foremost, but maybe everything got wired in their life, so that was what they felt they had the option to do, and I hope that I hope that something like miserable happens to them. So I got scammed. I lost my Adderall while I was in a rental car in New Hampshire. I said, fuck. I went like 5 days without Adderall, and then I was getting a sock, and I found my Adderall. My question is, how did the Adderall get from my rental car in New Hampshire into my freaking sock drawer? I have all these questions from people who wrote in about ADHD. I've been filming them, putting them up on my YouTube, but I'm going to come in and refilm them in a nicer studio because it brings a certain level of crispness to it. I think those were all the things that I had to catch up to you about. Chelsea Handler's scheme. Oh, the lie I'm going to start saying. So recently the thing that I've been like talking a lot about and fixating on is like, okay, I'm going to turn 40. And this just coincides with a little bit of weirdness career-wise because I've been around entertainment for a little bit, but I'm not selling a ton of tickets. My booking agent just quit. I think that my manager has like the intellectual capacity of like, and I don't even want to say a walnut, but some type of non-human entity. I'll definitely edit that out. But where things are at career-wise, numbers-wise, coinciding with turning 40 has really gotten in my head. So what I've been fixating on is I just keep writing material about how I'm 40 and I can't believe this and I can't believe that. But then all of a sudden I thought, you know what? Screw that. I'm going to lie. So the lie that I'm thinking of saying is I'm going to start saying I'm 18. I don't give a shit. And then if they go, you're 18, and if they push back and they're like, you're not 18, I'll say, you're homophobic. You're homophobic because you think how I look it's confusing you, and so you're not seeing that I am 18. Boom. Because at first I'm about to be 40, I said, what if I say I'm 25? What if I say I'm 30? What if I say I'm 23? And then I said, lower. Also, what if I say I'm 16? All of a sudden I have way more time to continue to try to make it. I'm 16. So my new lie, I haven't decided on the exact age yet. When someone say, how are you? I'm going to put it in my bio. 13-year-old child prodigy Emma Willmann might appear to be trapped in more of a 40-year-old situation, but Emma is 13. So I'm thinking, because this is the other thing. All of a sudden I was like, oh, that's why I get so into all this anti-aging, longevity stuff, looking at aging at the cellular level, because it's like, maybe I think subconsciously, if I can bring my physical age much, much lower, then that will be an age I feel like I line up with accomplishment-wise. Because if I was in kindergarten, I would be killing it. I would be beyond killing it. Kindergarten, first grade, second grade, what? 8th grade, 9th grade. Now we're getting a little wonky because you have these 9th graders that go, oh, well, on my YouTube channel I make $50 million a month doing ASMR videos. Okay, we're getting wonky. But all before that, if I can get my age down to being like 8 to 13, I'm a genius. So maybe that's where some of my desire to slow down the aging process comes from. And that's what I'm fixating on about where with youth, because I'm trying to find some age that I would actually feel comfortable being. But the truth is, there's no age I feel comfortable being, because once you're comfortable with yourself, your age does not matter. And if I was giving advice to someone else, I'll say it doesn't matter. Everything brought you to this moment, and we should be so excited for that. This moment where you're bisexual and queer and missing gay man on gay man sex as a trans woman and all of the things that we just talked about, which I so appreciate you sharing with me. Tickets for Emma@gmail.com to write in more gay problems. And if you're single and you want to get set up, please write in what you're looking for. Maybe we can start setting people up. How fun would that be? Thank you so much. Thank you. I have to pee so bad. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.